Blackmagic didn't update the Pocket 4K sensor since 2018 and it's still relevant to this year for a very good reason. And in the following video I will gonna explain you why. Coming up. Gear always fascinates. The best new camera comes every few months. The sharpest lens with zoom, autofocus and an f1.0 is still on the wish list. And the brightest light with 2000 watts is still not small enough. Essential things like lighting, composition and storytelling are easily overshadowed by one stop more dynamic range. Or 10 frames at a higher resolution. Usually, the simple things go a really long way. A versatile little camera and a decent lens will capture stunning imagery if you know how to utilize it to its full potential. Too many things are overcomplicating the craft of filmmaking. This film was shot on a 7-year-old camera, a lens and a tripod. This film neither has the best bokeh nor the best flares, and doesn't need to, since gear is not important, but story is. So in the film you just saw, I challenged myself to use the cheapest camera I own and the cheapest lenses I have and to really focus on the things that are really important: lighting, composition and storytelling. And it also proves a totally different point, so that the Pocket 4K is still a totally valuable camera even in 2025 and also 2026. The big reason for that is the sensor inside the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. It's a Micro Four Thirds 4K sensor with 60 frames and 13 stops of dynamic range. What I found mostly great about this sensor is the noise structure that it has. It creates a very pleasing organic image that I hardly find elsewhere with any other camera. So that's really great, and also skin tones and everything looks really nice. Remember, the film I just showed you is without any color grading. This is just contrast and saturation boosted a little bit, but that's there is to all this footage, so I really like the look out of it. One huge benefit is Blackmagic RAW. Just remember, when the camera was released, Blackmagic RAW wasn't even out yet. It has been released a little later, and having that in camera is just awesome. The RAW codec is amazing, and you have relatively small file sizes. If you choose compression ratio 12:1, it's even smaller than ProRes. So, and I personally also don't mind it. It's not 6K. 4K is more than enough for most circumstances, and also 4K 60 is all you need. So I think codec wise and resolution wise, what the camera gives you is just all you need, and even more if you want to. And as I've just said, the image quality and the texture of the image is just outstanding from my opinion. And the second reason is the Micro Four Thirds mount. It is highly adaptable. You can use it with a speed booster to convert it to EF if you want, but you can also adapt to PL or any other mount that you can imagine, M mount for example. So that I found really useful, and I particularly don't use the speed booster that often, so I much prefer using a pass-through adapter so I can make use of the 2x crop, and I use it for close-ups and stuff like that. So the sensor and also the dynamic range and also how the image is rendered inside this camera is really amazing. So to summarize, let's also check the price and value proposition of this camera in total. If you buy it new, it costs you around $1,000. Personally, I bought mine 2 years ago, used for around 600 euros. There was already the small rig half clutch included and also the Metabone speed booster. Since that day, the camera never let me down. It runs like an absolute workhorse, and yeah, works like a breeze, and there's already DaVinci Resolve included. So for me personally, this camera is still an absolute no-brainer, and therefore I still think it's an absolute good investment to buy this camera in 2025 or 2026. If you have any of the further questions, you know the game, then just drop them down in the comments below. I hope you liked all these settings that we've chosen here for you, and see you guys in the next one. Cheers!